So there's been a few developments in the car since when I first showed it off. Of course, we had like a full functional interior, and now we don't. The main reason was to fit the head unit. We've got this Android head unit, which I'll show off in a bit. We're going to be fitting that today in its fascia with the Connect 2 kit. Kind of been a bit strange getting it all set up because of wanting the steering wheel controls to work and things like that. But we've managed to figure all that out, and I'll actually show that off as well for anyone who might have a similar head unit to what we've went for in this case. We're also going to be fitting a quick shift. It was a tenner off eBay, so we're going to be fitting that while everything's out for obvious reasons. Otherwise there's no point in taking everything out just to fit that as well. So as you can see, it's kind of a bit, well, it's hollow, there's not really much here. So this is of course where the head unit's going to be going, and this corner here has to actually be cut off in order for the fascia to fit properly, because it fits differently to the OEM one, but it's worth it in the long run. And then down here is where we're going to be fitting the quick shift, and also the handbrake does need adjusting, but we can do that later day, can't we? But the handbrake does have a lot of play before it activates. I'm not going to do anything with it though, just in case. But yeah, so that's the plan. Cut that off, get the head unit in, get it working, get it all functional, blah blah. Right, so that's the part that we need to cut off now. So the head unit's pretty much ready to fit. All we need to do now is of course wire it in. Right, it's been a few more developments outside the car as well that I want to discuss. Yeah, it looks quite different to how I showed it last time, but here you go. So as you can see, all the trim's off, mainly around the arches and I suppose you could call them side skirts. And they were kind of rusty, but we've cleaned them all up now. They're not too bad. And of course the arches, you'll remember when I showed them on last night here. We'll put some anti-rust on them as well. It's just like stuff for boats normally, just around here, but it clears up like cars as well. So yeah, the other arch as well, they've actually cleaned up quite nicely for an 11-year-old car. Obviously these will be getting a refurb and sorted closer to the time of going on the road. We're going to be doing that probably after the interior is done. It's been done on this side as well, cleaned up pretty nicely. And of course the arch. So yeah, overall it's coming along nicely. So all that's really left now is the interior, and then we're going to get onto the brakes and the engine service as well. And then it's a lot of just undersealing, that anti-rust stuff I was talking about. We're going to be using a lot of that and just sort of trying to get it as clean as possible. It's going to be used as a daily on the front shocks as well. As you can see, the head unit's in. The only thing left to fit is this huge panel which goes over the top there. As you can see, there's a big gap. That's not ideal for most cars. So we're gonna get that in, and then that'll be this upper half sort of done. As you can see, the time and everything works. Well, we've set the date and time on that part of it. So yeah, so that all works out. We've also set the time on there. This is obviously the Android head unit thingy, so you've got like Android 7 or something. But it comes with torque as well, which is, you know, that OBD thing that gives you slightly accurate stuff. So yeah, pretty good. Needs setting up though, but you know, it comes with that, it's canny. It does have a radio as well, but copyright reasons it's not on. So the next thing left to fit is the quick shift, which goes down here. But we'll get more in depth into that once we've made a bit of progress with it. But for the most part, the main job is now done up here. And I also found 10 pence in the glove box. What was it, glove box? It was a door bin. 10 pence in the door bin is a win. Right, so that's the quick shift all in. This shiny thing here. It's a very, very short throw. So there's neutral. You've got third down to fourth. It's only up and down. It's not left and right, obviously. You need like a sequential to sort of get rid of that, which it's not gonna happen. But yeah, it's much shorter. It's like first to second, like in a neutral. It is a lot better, and for the sake of like what, a tenner, it's gonna help out a bit. But yeah, it's all just the magic down there. A lot of filing needs to be done around this area here, because a lot of people complain that these can break after like 5 seconds when they fitted them and blah blah. But the issue is you need to make sure you file down here first, so then when you actually put it into gear, it's going to miss it and it's not going to grind off it and things like that. Right, so that's the interior back together now. We're pretty much all done. The head unit's in now as well. So yeah, that's it. I did want to address a few things regarding like the little gear knob we've got here. As you can see, it's pretty worse for wear, to be honest. So yeah, it's in really bad condition. You can see it's scratched up. It's no good to anyone really. So what I've decided to do is my dad, of course, I mentioned a few times, used to own one of these. He had one in his original car before he changed it, and he managed to get a genuine one of these that I was looking for, but I can't seem to find them anywhere. I don't know why, but they seem proper rare, and I don't really want an aftermarket one. I don't know, I just like the original, and I like the look of it, so I want to stick with the original. So this one here used to be in my dad's Type R before he got the other one that's pretty much exactly the OEM one, but this is we believe is a copy. Obviously it's just been tri-fitted, it's not in properly, so that's why it's moving around. But we're going to get this out and we're going to actually fill in the indentations with red, so it should look exactly like the original. So that's the original one, all scuffed up, and the new one sitting there. So yeah, I've got faith that we'll be able to pretty much replicate that. It's still that typical freezing cold material, that aluminium metally material. It's still going to be freezing and scadding hot in the summer. But that's kind of just what I wanted. I wanted that quality sort of feel from it. And as you can see, of course, everything is now back in as it should be. So yeah, happy days. I'm gonna probably do like a full-on review of this head unit at some point. I don't really want to go too much into it because it's fairly in depth. As you can see, it's full Android. It does have like the likes of Spotify, so you can actually have the proper Spotify interface on there. Obviously you'll need internet. The only issue I've found with it is you need to tether your phone, so if you don't have tethering or Wi-Fi hotspot on your plan, you need to like set that up. Other than that though, it comes with like talk, which is like that one there. It sort of communicates with the OBD, but we've tried to get that to work and it's just, yeah, we're not having much luck. But yeah, I'll do a full overview of the head unit at some point, but for now there's a lot more bigger things to go on. One last thing as well, you've got to get the red H on the key. I mean, come on. Little pro tip for these, if anyone's interested, they're like £2 off eBay. It's not a cover like you can buy off like Cox or Honda. It's just a little, you literally pry out the little black Honda on the back there, and you can just stick a red one and it's just sticky back. But looks pretty cool, little detail. I like it. I did mention in the other video it's going to be engine, but obviously the weather's sort of put us out of that one. It's windy as outside, and it was hard enough to do the interior, never mind messing about with fluids and stuff like that. Plus it's pretty freezing outside, so yeah. But that's it for episode 2. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as you did the other one, and everything's in focus this time. I noticed on the previous episode things were a bit out of focus, so I've calibrated the camera a bit better this time and it's all working. I haven't used the camera in a while, so in my defense, that's why. There's a few other things to do now. Again, they were addressed last time, but we're getting there. We're slowly but surely, we are getting there, and it's still early days, so good start. But yeah, mental. It is painstaking not being able to drive this yet, but we are getting there. Right, I'll see you in the next episode, guys, next Monday, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Today we'll plan to get the rear bumper off.